Evening, everyone, to our July 2024 Ordinary Council meeting. Welcome to our gallery and our virtual gallery. Please be upstanding for our acknowledgement of council prayer, please. I would like to start the meeting by acknowledging and extending my appreciation for the Dja Dja Wurrung people, the traditional owners of the land we're standing on today. Today, we pay our respects to leaders and elders past, present and emerging, for they hold the memories, traditions, the culture and the hopes of all Dja Dja Wurrung people. The council prayer. Almighty God, we ask you to be present in this council, direct and guide our deliberations. We ask you to grant us wisdom and sensitivity as we deal with the business of Central Goldfields Shire. May each decision that we make advance the well-being of all our residents. This we pray. Amen. Please receive it. Agenda for July has been circulated. We have one apology. Councillor Wayne Sproul is unable to be with us tonight. Two apologies, and Councillor Anna de Villiers, who's unwell, and we wish her a speedy recovery. There are no leave of absences, and councillors, are there any conflicts of interest? Councillor Murphy? So no conflicts of interest. We'll move on to item 5, which is the confirmation of minutes of the previous council meeting. Just want to note that there's actually 2 items. There's item 5.1, which are the draft minutes of the council meeting held on the 25th of June 24, and there's also 5.2, the draft minutes of the confidential special council meeting dated 1st of July 2024. We will move and vote on them in one block. Would somebody like to move those 2 items, please? Councillor Lavella, a seconder. Councillor Meadows Taylor. All those in favour? Against? That is carried. There are no minutes of delegated and advisory committees, and we don't have any petitions this month, so I'll move straight on to our officers' reports. Item 8.1 is the council action plan on page 12 of the agenda. Councillors, would somebody like to move that? Councillor Lovett, your motion.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to move that council note the council plan, annual action plan 2023-2024 progress report for quarter 4.
Thank you, Councillor Lovett. Would somebody like to second that, please? Councillor Murphy. Councillor Lovett, would you like to speak to this motion?
Madam Mayor, the report provides council with an update on the status of the actions identified in the council plan, action plan 2023-2024 for the quarter ending 30 June 2024. The council plan annual action plan was developed to support the achievement of the strategic objectives identified in the council plan. Council adopted the annual action plan at its October 23 meeting, and quarter 4 progress is now presented. There are 72 items in the current action plan. 31 items have been completed, with 20 items completed this quarter, compared to 6 items completed in quarter 3. 39 items are in progress, and 2 items are not due to start until a later date. The current year's budget was prepared in line with the initiatives identified in the annual plan, subject to grants from state and federal governments being received in some cases. So I strongly urge council to support this motion.
Thank you, Councillor Lovett. Councillor Murphy, would you like to speak to this motion?
No.
No? Any other councillors like to speak to this motion? No? If not, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Against? That motion is carried. Item 8.2 is the Community Satisfaction Survey results from the 2024 report on page 28 of our agenda. Would the council like to move this, please? Councillor Meadows Taylor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm happy to move the officer's recommendation that council note the Community Satisfaction Survey results for 2020.
Thank you, Councillor Meadows Taylor. And could I have a seconder, please? Councillor Murphy. Councillor Meadows Taylor.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. In moving the motion, I note that in the interest of transparency, we released the report as soon as we received it, before council had an opportunity to be briefed by JWS, the survey people, and indeed had the chance to be briefed and consider it. We did that in the interest of transparency, and I note that the CEO provided some valuable context at the time that was published in terms of the individual results. So what I want to do is just talk to two key things: the overall context of the results rather than the detail which the CEO has reported on, and perhaps let's just talk about what we can do about it. Really, the reality is around the world, things are in a lot of headwinds, really cost of living pressures, economic challenges, and there's a lot of negativity about elected governments. A recent opinion by the Guardian Essential poll showed that less than 40% of Australians had confidence in the democratic system. So we are in a difficult situation globally, more closely in local governments, as JWS points out, both across the state in all councils, and with our particular group of councils, rural councils, measured a decline. Difficult times. A whole lot of factors come into that, including the impact of COVID, what became known as the Great Resignation, where we have, particularly in our context, a strong relationship. We've had a strong relationship built culture with individual residents contacting people they've known within the Shire office. Well, those people moved on, as they did everywhere, and people had to work from home. So that pattern of contact became broken, as it was everywhere, but that was challenging for a lot of our residents. I think we understand that. We've had staff shortages as a result of that process. And then we've had the cost of living pressures that really impact on a community particularly like ours. It's very difficult. It's challenging. People are doing it tough, and we recognise that. So we operate in difficult times, and unfortunately, like all councils and our rural councils, our results have deteriorated. In some cases, we've seen that we know that roads have been a problem everywhere. We know there's some confusion about what are state roads and local roads. That's not the fault of residents. There's a general misunderstanding about that. What can we do about it? I think there are two things. We will move shortly into council elections and a new council plan. I think this becomes some food for thought for the new council when it goes and proceeds to engage with the community in terms of consultation about priorities and issues. So what are the concerns? What are the things that the community want council to do? What are the things that are priorities for them? So a new opportunity to engage with the community, as we've done consistently over the 4 years, with a fresh opportunity by a new council and a new council plan. Secondly, I think we have an important role in terms of advocacy. This particular survey has been with us, I think, from memory, since about 2011. I wonder whether it's reached its use-by date, realistically, and that's not the criticism at all of JWS who run the survey. But, Councillor Vella, I know, is always interested in what's called 360-degree feedback, which is really represents the fact that we operate in whatever we do in a circle of people all around us that are our customers, our clients, have some view about us. Councils are no exception to that. As well as our community through the sort of survey this does, we have other important customers and partners, our funders, our partners in state and federal government, our community organisations, our council committees, our community organisations that we interact with. They're all part of the process of how council delivers. And I tend to think that we should probably be talking with other councils and with our peak bodies about ways in which we can get feedback in a rather more meaningful way than perhaps the way that we've just done this and just phone up 400 community people, just hope we get the right feedback. That is part of the feedback, without a doubt. But I think there are other important bits that are missing. So I would think going forward, that the new council plan and the new opportunity to engage with the community and the opportunity to rethink with our colleagues in other councils and peak bodies and local government Victoria about what perhaps might be a more meaningful way of capturing realistic and meaningful feedback about council performance. It's not due to go forward. It is what it is. I feel sorry for staff. We've got such wonderful staff that do a brilliant job. It would be lovely to sort of see better results, but we are operating in a headwind context, and it is what it is. But let's look to the future and what we can do. Thanks, Natalie.
Thank you, councillor Meadows Taylor. Councillor Murphy, would you like to speak to this?
Certainly do. I've been on the councils for probably 12 years and missing a couple of years in between. In between missing a couple of years, I always thought this was flawed. Put on to us by the state government in a flawed situation. 400 people. So probably out of 10,000, 11,000 people who will understand this, they're all kids probably wouldn't get a go, but when you read what they do, who they talk to, 400, probably 4%, 3.5% to 4%. Just annoyed me for so long that it doesn't get the real essence of what it's about. And I'm getting annoyed, and I've said this here and other places, that they can ring on a Saturday morning at 10 o'clock and you've got parent taking her kids to the sporting world, the football or whatever. And this, I had a complaint about this year was last year. What am I supposed to, so they complain because they said, well, how can I talk to you this time of day? And we have got an organisation that rings certain times when people are having dinner, when people are doing this. This can only work if we're doing things in the street, talking to people and get a lot more of a relevance to it. 400 is not enough. 800, 1,000, maybe 10%. 10% is 1,000. It just, to me, it just never made sense. I don't take much credence to it and how we're going or what we're doing. There's things there, as Councillor Meadows Taylor, you have to really understand the areas and the people in this room and on Zoom would understand. But this makes us look bad at times, makes us looking in a lower area. So when we have an overall result of the overall council direction, it says 61% in one line, and then it says 68% in the other line, which is improved and stayed the same, which is 68% overall council direction, improved 15%, stay the same 40%, and then deteriorated 29%. So I don't think that 68% is not a lot to say now on another page. I just find it very difficult why we even do this, and it's because it's another thing the state government puts on top of you. That's what they do. They say, go and do this, go and build a border farm, go and do breweries, go and do this, go and do that. Oh, you've got to have wind towers, you've got to have solar panels, you've got to have this. This is just another one. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Murphy, very passionate. Any other councillors like to speak to this motion? Councillor Lavella.
Yes, I'd just like to reiterate what Councillor Murphy said. He said exactly what I was going to say. My view is the methodology is flawed. We need to do this because it's mandated by the state government. But when you think about it and reflecting exactly what you said, 400 people have phoned to answer the survey. 6 p.m. at night when That's the right time for the kids, preparing dinner. No one wants to answer a survey. I hate that council, is what they're thinking, because they think the council is the ones that are ringing them. The floods, sure, the floods are causing grief in every piece of the state at the moment, but that is a domino effect of the terrible floods in 2022, I think that was the date. So it's happening all over the place. The resources are less. We get less money for the reparation of roads, and I think that's where the state government and, I might add, federal government really have to consider the needs at our local level. So I'm not making excuses, but that's the facts. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Lavella. Any other councillors like to speak? No, if not, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Yes, that is carried. Next item on the agenda is our Central Goldfields Shire local laws 2025 for public consultation on page 103 of our agenda. Councillors, do I have somebody to move that, please? Councillor Lavella, thank you.
I so move that council resolves to release draft general local law 2025 for public consultation and community feedback for a 4-week public period from the 5th of August to the 29th of August 2024.
Thank you, councillor Lavella. Seconder, councillor Meadows-Taylor. Councillor Lavella, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, the current Central Goldfields Shire local laws were gazetted in 2015 under the Government Act of 1989. That has since been superseded by the Local Government Act 2020. Section 84 sunset provision, which means a sunset provision or clause is a measure within an act or regulation that provides that the law shall cease to have effect after a specific date unless further action is taken to exit it. A local law expires after 10 years, whether it has been amended in the meantime or not. The only way to renew a local law is to make a new one. Hence, we went through this project. Central Goldfields Shire is empowered to create local laws under Section 71 of the Local Government Act 2020. A local law must not be inconsistent with an with an act including the Charter of Human Rights and Responsibility Act 2006 or regulations. Central Goldfields Shire must achieve legislative compliance in the creation and operation of local laws, and in doing so achieve better practice in explanation of local laws and the matters included for the community at that time. So how to explain the local laws community has been problematic in the past. With the impending expiry of 2015 general local laws, council officers formed a project control group, developed a project plan and to consider 55 issues. Council must make a local law in accordance with its community engagement policy. A notice must be published on the internet site of council and in accordance with the regulations. And to ensure the general local law is valid, the project control group must deliver the 4 specific items just to name one. Council must obtain a certificate from a solicitor stating that they are of the opinion that the proposed local law is consistent with the local law requirements and must be tabled at a meeting. Before a local law can be gazetted, a certificate of Australian lawyer with at least 5 years in the legal profession must be obtained stating the proposed local law. Following the quote process, council had engaged legal firm Macquarie local government lawyers in accordance with an approved budget allocation. The project plan has allowed a maximum of 6 months for the completion of the legal review and is currently on the 3rd month. Council officers completed a comprehensive community engagement program between the 27th of November and 1st of December 2023. The local laws will be exhibited from August 2024 for a 4-week period. And following this process and on conclusion of the legal review, and finally, community update is proposed for late 2024. So in conclusion, the draft Central Goldfields Shire Local Laws 2025 are prepared for public consultation in consideration of the regulatory, say that with marbles, impact from the revised laws to the Central Goldfields community. It is recommended the council resolves to release the draft General Law, Local Law 2025 for public consultation and community feedback for a 4-week period from 5th of August to the 29th of August. And a great deal of onerous work has gone into this report, I might add. I know you've been working very hard for a long period of time to get this report to the table. So thank you very much.
Thank you, councillor Lavella. Councillor Meadows Taylor, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, look, sometimes, so many things on council we look back on, or I look back on and feel a sense of real pride. I must admit, I've always thought our local laws historically have been, so we've taken a rather minimalist approach. And they've probably been a bit lacking. There are things that just haven't been there. Other things have brought in at a period of time that seemed relevant at that point of time that have since then have things have moved on. Other things emerge and have not been captured. The great thing about this particular version that will go out for public comment if the motion is adopted is its comprehensiveness. It is so thorough, it covers so many issues and has impacted people both living in urban areas, in rural areas, and it brings us up to date. And the great thing has been in the process, and as Councillor Bell has pointed out, so much work's gone into this, but that work has not only been, we talked about earlier about standing on streets and so some of us stood on the streets with the officers and getting comments on, and that was a good process. But it's also been talking and getting information from other councils, looking at what they do, looking at best practice. And I think that this has all gone into producing a statement. We'll see what the community think of this goes out. But I feel a sense of real pride in what has been achieved, and the thoroughness, the breadth, the depth of these draft local laws, and the fact that they really are contemporary, they meet contemporary needs, they have moved on from things that are no longer relevant, but equally picks up things that are now issues that do have to be addressed. So I feel a sense of real enthusiasm, indeed excitement about these in a way that I've not felt in the past about our local laws. And I do hope that council proceeds to adopt these for consultation. I look forward, if that's the case, to further community feedback. But I think we have the basis of something that is very, very powerful, very relevant to our community, and one that they've already had existing feedback and comment on. And if this goes ahead, we'll further add to and have that opportunity. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, councillor Meadows Taylor. Would any other councillors like to speak to this motion? Councillor Murphy.
Thanks, councillors. Just going to say to the gallery and to those viewing from wherever they view from, it's a good thing to get this document and read it, because this is a time to say, oh, I'm not unsure of that now. Things like shipping containers, it is permitted under the planning scheme, or a building permit has been issued. A lot of shipping containers out there, have they all got planning permits? Is it permitted under the scheme? There's these things that people should look at who might be concerned, oh, what shall I do here? Dogs, it's 2 allowed on land, less than 4,000 square metres, that's 1 acre. And cats, the same thing. And it goes on and on like this, but at the end of the day, it's good to read it, good to understand where you might be, or your neighbour might be, or someone else might be, like heavy vehicles. A person must not part store repair or allow another person to part store or repair a vehicle over 7.5 metres in length, including the trailer on a residential area. So a person must not park, store or repair a heavy vehicle or a long vehicle on land in a residential zone that is 2,000 square metres or less in size. All these things. Interesting in this is very self-explanatory, what we've had before, what I've seen, and I think people should get this draft, print it out, have a look at it and say, is that right, is this right? So I'm just happy to get it out there, as the other councillors.
Thank you, councillor Murphy. Any other councillors like to speak to the motions? If not, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Against? That motion is carried. Moving on to item 8.4, which is our draft event strategy report on page 152 of our agenda. Councillors, do I have somebody to move that, please? Councillor Lavella.
Thank you. I move that we endorse the draft Central Goldfields Event Strategy 2024-2028, the community consultation, and 2, make the draft Central Goldfields Event Strategy 24 to 28 available for community feedback on Council's Engage website.
Thank you, councillor Lavella. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Lovett. Councillor Lavella.
In 2019, Central Goldfields Shire Council developed the 2020-25 tourism and event strategy to provide a clear vision and action plan for growing the Central Goldfields tourism industry. A key theme of this strategy is to develop and enhance events and festivals, identifying the need for more active promotion of existing events and the development of new events, which encourage community participation and draw visitors to our shire. Prior to the pandemic, and this is very interesting, in 2020, the Shire hosted around 31 events annually. 11 of these were classified as key events, attracting significant visitors to the region. During the pandemic the events dropped to low of 4 for 2020. So 4 in 2020. Now that is significant, and that was the impact of COVID. Increasingly, the demands for council services support and complex compliance requirements have made it clear that we need a structured approach to managing events. In response to the challenges, the Central Goldfields Shire has initiated the development of an events strategy. Now, the overarching strategy is the Central Goldfields Tourism and Events Strategy 2020-25, a guiding framework. The events strategy sits underneath this. So to unify our vision, a strategic approach to facilitate a high quality events across Central Goldfields is required. And as an example, it provides a roadmap for how we can deliver our vision to festivals and events throughout the Shire, identifies and capitalises on key opportunities to influence regional partnerships for coordinated event development and promotion. That's very important that we reach out to others in the sector, because we've got to share common vision, and that is tourism. There's a whole heap which are in the pack you can have a look at. It also establishes a comprehensive framework for measuring and evaluating the effectiveness of our support for and delivering of events. Provides event organisers with a clear understanding of venue options and necessary regulatory considerations, there's that word again. Consultation for this strategy is being undertaken in 2 stages. Stage 1, consultation was undertaken to help inform the draft strategy, and this included council briefing sessions to explain the strategy and the process and learn council views on support for tourism and community events. 2 facilitated workshops with council staff from departments including community partnerships, compliance, communications, emergency management, etc. Now, there was also one-on-one meetings with key event stakeholders to gain their views and priorities related to the development of events in this region. And it goes on. So in conclusion, the draft Central Goldfields Event Strategy 2024 to 2028 has been developed through a process of research, analysis, and indeed consultation. It provides direction and clarity, ensuring that future events are strategically aligned with community needs. Following input from councillors, the draft strategy will be publicly advertised during July, August to gather feedback from community and stakeholders, and the final version will possibly come out in the next few weeks. I don't know, when's it coming, the final version? Without notice? It's final version coming out?
But continue the consultation first.
Yeah, so the final, hopefully by the end of this year.
September.
September, yes, thank you very much. So the final version in September. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Vella. Councillor Lovett.
Nothing to add, Madam Mayor.
Hasn't got-
Thank you, councillor Lovett. Any other councillors? Oh, both at once. Murphy, councillor Murphy, you go first.
I just saying that people again should look at this because I've just noticed 3 events that we need to put in there, larger events, which we can miss out on times, but they need to go in there, and there'll be more events which, these 3 events, one has 1,000, one has 4,000, one has 500, but they're not in this sample, and we need to get things into the sample to say how many events we do have. So people read it and go, oh, we forgot about that one, or what about that one, what about this one? Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Murphy. Councillor Taylor.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Look, I think one of the great things about this document and this draft document is the opportunity for our residents to understand events better. Often on social media, you see posts on events saying, let's have one of these, council should organise this one, council should put on more events. Our role needs to be understood. We support events, we can help facilitate events. To our limited funding that we have, we can help fund events, which we do. But in essence, events depend on a small group of people who have the determination and the resolve and the vision, firstly, but then that determination and resolve to manage and see events through. It's very easy to say someone else should put on an event. And you have a lot of people who say, give me money and I'll put on an event for you. That's not the way. Events depend on the group of the willing to actually make an event happen, and then council can certainly, as is pointed out in the strategy, work with them and help. One of the good things about this strategy, which I've constantly sort of wanted to champion, is the importance of working regionally, because if people travel and visit events, they often plan a schedule of things that they might want to see. And if we can be our events can be part of other regional events, people will come to our events, they'll go to other regional events. Okay, we promote those events, they'll promote ours. So we need to think more broadly. But importantly, this event strategy is the opportunity for people to really engage and understand roles, responsibilities, and let's not get away from that real sense of ownership. If we want to see an event happen, we need a group of willing people around us to do the hard work to make it happen then for sure, council officers and council can help and will help. But there's no magic button, council just make this happen. That's not how it works anywhere. Thanks, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, councillor Mellows Taylor. I will now put that to the vote as every single councillor has spoken. All those in favour? Against? That is carried. Thank you. Next on our agenda is item 8.5, which is G1871/2023 payroll services contract on page 179 of our agenda. Do I have someone to move that, please? Councillor Murphy.
Recommendation. Sorry, gallery. Recommendation, the council award contract G 1871/2023 payroll outsourcing and processing services to Almo Software for the provision of the Almo payroll software and Pay Essentials Pty Limited for the payroll processing for a total estimated total cost $499,218 ex GST over a 4-year term. We authorise the Chief Executive Officer to formally execute the contract and agreements.
Thank you, councillor Murphy. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Lovett. Councillor Murphy, would you like to speak to your motion?
Well, this has been probably, I think it's about a year in the making, getting it there and getting tenders in and getting the right mix and that. Payroll is a very important place of the council and any organisation. We have to make sure that we're doing everything right and everything is happening to the right ways. And having a processing, outsourcing and a processing company to do it, who do others as well and have all that within them, is a logical thing. I've seen this happen. I've seen payroll happen where payroll outsourcing works really well. And this payroll outsourcing here, the staff can go and talk to these people as well. And it is important to be up to date with everything. Sometimes things just go through. So we did an expression of interest, and that was in December 23. And to provide, manage and end-to-end outsourced payroll and processing services to council. There was 8 respondents, 3 formal responses were received, and the responses were evaluated, and we came up with, the council officers came up with the Almo payroll software and Pay Essentials. So the risk management of it all, if obviously there's risk management, if you don't do this properly, we have issues. The provision of a stable, secure payroll service provides mitigation across a number of strategic risks, including legislative and compliance, governance and risk, and financial sustainability. Having a professional payroll provider ensures that compliance with our enterprise agreement, so they comply to our enterprise bargaining agreement. And the legislative requirements minimise the risk of underpayment and potentially ensuring there are no overpayments. So the cost is $499,000, $218 over a 4-year period. I think that I've been in this industry before, and I think it's a good deal. And I'm very happy for it to go ahead, and it takes a lot of headaches away, where staff can move on with other things, and we can go forward on this.
Thank you, councillor Murphy. Councillor Lovett.
Councillor Murphy just summed it up perfectly, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Any other councillors like to speak to this motion? No. If not, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Against? That motion is carried. On to the next item, which is item 8.6, Prevention of Fraud and Corruption Policy Review, page 183. Do I have a councillor to move that, please? Councillor Lovett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to move that Council 1 notes the Audit and Risk Committee review of the updated policy and the rigorous legislative requirements on occasions of alleged or actual fraud or corruption And 2, adopts the updated prevention of fraud and corruption policy.
Thank you, councillor Lovett. Do I have a second, please? Councillor Lavella. Councillor Lovett, would you like to speak to this motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The prevention of fraud and corruption policy was last updated in 2018. It is important to note that council is bound by rigorous legislative requirements when there are allegations of or actual fraud or corruption. The manner in which this is dealt with is not discretionary. The report identifies the roles and responsibilities in preventing fraudulent or corrupt activity, but also in its reporting and subsequent investigation. Community consultation is not required for this policy. However, the policy is made available for inspection of members of the public, as well as for noting by the Audit and Risk Committee at the June 2024 meeting. Council holds a strong stance on ensuring fraud and corruption does not occur at Central Goldfields Shire. The updated policy provides guidance for understanding what could be considered fraud or corruption, how to report it if there is a suspicion of fraud or corruption, and the resulting investigations. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, councillor Lovett. Councillor Lavella, would you like to speak?
Nothing more to add.
You, any other councillors like to speak to this motion? No, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Against? That motion is carried. That brings us to the last item on our agenda tonight, which is item 8.7, the Central Goldfields Shire Council Early Years Workforce Plan. Do I have somebody to move that, please? Councillor Meadows Taylor, thank you.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I'm happy to move the officer's recommendation that Council 1 acknowledge the significant work already undertaken by the sector to meet 15 hours of kinder provision for every 3-year-old in Central Goldfields, and the additional workforce required to meet 30 hours pre-prep and the new state-run early learning and care centre. 2, endorse the attached Central Goldfields Early Childhood Education Workforce Plan 2024-2029. And 3, write to the Victorian Minister for Children to pursue a partnered approach that include additional funds required to implement the plan.
Thank you, councillor Meadows Taylor. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Murphy. Councillor Meadows Taylor, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We take great pride in our wonderful community and our shire. We also acknowledge that, as we talked about earlier, a lot of people a lot of our residents face challenges and economic challenges. We know that there are challenges in terms of disadvantage. And we also, over a period of many years, have recognised, as council has recognised, that the best way to address and remediate those challenges of disadvantage is through the early years and intervention in the early years. And Best Start program that is mentioned in this strategy here is a program, state government program, that we very much embraced and championed within this shire in Maryborough. Similarly, of course, Go Goldfields was as a result of that intervention in the early years. And I think together with Logan in Queensland, I think we are one of the model place-based areas of commendation and recognition of what's been achieved in terms of place-based remedial areas to champion the case of remediating disadvantage in the early years. The added challenges of 3-year-old in the kindergarten and the additional benefits of the early years in kindergarten has of course created a shortage we're already experiencing of area that'd be familiar to you, Madam Mayor, with your career background, and that is early years educators. And we need to do something about that. And this plan is an attempt to try and look forward and say, what will our needs be, given we already are facing shortages? And as the plan points out, in the next few years, I mean, really, we need a quarter more of those early years educators, over 30 of them. Where are they to be found? How can we best provide to meet those needs, so that we prepare for the future? And we need to do that, otherwise our children will suffer because we won't have that provision that we so badly need. So workforce planning is exactly what we should be doing. And as we've always recognised, we've recognised it, of course, in Go Goldfields, it's about partnership. We can't do it all by ourselves. We operate within a statewide framework for early years provision. The funding needs to largely come from statewide areas. The Commonwealth have got a responsibility. Basically, a partnered approach is exactly what we need to do in planning for the future, planning for those shortages that we have, and remediating those to meet the needs of our children, to give our children the best start in life, which was the old Best Start program was designed to do, and to give our children the opportunities that our community vision and our council plan envisage. So this is the way forward. This is a thoughtful plan that addresses a real need to provide for our future workforce in a meaningful, creative, but a very practical way. And it's a delight to have it come to us and to be able to support it and for it to go forward. Thanks, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Councillor Murphy. Nothing further to add? Any other councillors like to speak to this?
No.
No, if not, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Against? That motion is carried. That concludes our officers' reports. There are no council reports or general business. We don't have any notices of motion. Is there any urgent business that we need to attend to? No, if not, we'll move on to any confidential business. No. On that note, I will close our meeting. Thank you very much for your attendance. Thank you, gallery. Thank you, virtual gallery. For those driving home, please do so safely. Thank you.
Thank you.